Good day, everyone, and welcome to the final episode of the T&T Podcast. This is Tola.
And this is your co-host, Turi.
Last episode, we talked about the second part of the book, 1984. Why don't you give us a recap, Tariq?
1984, written by George Orwell, is a terrifying story of a totalitarian government which everyone is a slave to a tyrannical regime.
Now, let's begin the third and final part of the book, 1984. So in book 3, chapter 1, we start off with Winston waking up in a windowless cell in the Ministry of Love. The lights are always on, and there's 4 telescreens to monitor him at all times. And we learn that his cell is crowded with other people. There's party prisoners, which are like political prisoners that committed political crimes. And then there's ordinary criminals who, I guess, did ordinary things. And we just basically, in this part of the book, we just learn about the different people in this cell. We see one that's a pro woman who had the same last name as Winston. And we see another one who is Tom Parsons. We didn't go over him in the recap because he wasn't that important, but we learned that he was actually ratted out for a thought crime because he said "down with Big Brother" in his sleep, and his own daughter ratted him out, which is another example that shows the lack of love for each other in a family. It's only love for Big Brother and not each other. And every one of these people are being sent to this room called Room 101. And this is kind of a sort of suspense and anticipation because as it go on, each and every person is being sent to Room 101. So then we wonder, is Winston going to be sent to Room 101? What is in Room 101? I just want to ask something real quick to Tariq, a small little question. What did you think was in Room 101 when you're reading the story at this point?
At this point, when I was reading the story,
Mm-hmm.
I had the idea that it was a torture. You know, it's the Ministry of Truth. I mean, it's the Ministry of Love.
Yeah.
And we know that we explained before the irony behind the ministry on how the Ministry of Love is where people who commit crimes and stuff like that go. So there's really no love there. And since everyone's being sent to this room where they're in a place where they're supposed to be punished at, I would think that it was a torture room.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like, people are going in there to get tortured. Whether it was waterboarding, like taking off people's toenails or breaking bones. I knew some type of torture was going on there. Also, since these people were like political radicals, I guess you could say, like they were a party. I also think that maybe it was like a brainwash or something like that, where they tried to brainwash the people and just let them back in freely with a new identity back into the civilization.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so let's continue. So later in the chapter, Mr. O'Brien enters Winston's cell, and this is where he introduces himself as the chief operator of the Ministry of Love. So we already get to see what the members of the power of the members of the inner party. O'Brien is the chief operator of the Ministry of Love of one of the 4 major departments of INSOC. That's major. So you can already tell like what type of people are in the inner party. So Winston is crushed, not crushed. He's like Winston's was shocked to realize that O'Brien is like the person that he looked up to, the person that he looked up to as a intellectual individual was actually a member of the Ministry of Love. And basically in the next chapter, Winston is tortured, and he's tortured and confesses to his crimes, with espionage, sabotage, and stuff like that. And his spirit is broken, but like he still has his love for Julia, and he still holds his love for Julia. And I think and it's shown that that's what the party wants to break. Like the party wants to make O'Brien specifically wants to make Winston love Big Brother and love INSOC, and only love INSOC and Big Brother. So I think that's the whole point of this torture method. So, any further thoughts before we move on, Mr. Tariq?
Before we move on, I'd like to give like a round of applause real quick for this idea of torture, only because like if you put them in their shoes, like that would be like a good idea to just not torture them, not only for them to confess their crime, but also to torture them so that they like just only love Big Brother and only love the party. Because Winston is obsessed with not I wouldn't say obsessed, but he loves Julie. Like they even like pictured himself growing old with her, and being having not a family, but like just going old with her, maturing, loving. And like if you were in a party and you don't appreciate this type of love, romance
Mm-hmm.
happening around, it would be a good idea to put it an end to where it is right there, and just brainwash him to not love Julia.
Yeah. All right. I want to move on to what O'Brien does to Winston. O'Brien puts Winston into this like machine that stretches his back and like it stretches the bones in his body. Like you can already imagine how painful that is. Like it's like pulling a muscle to like 1,000 levels. Like that's really gonna hurt. And through this torture method,
The stretch.
yeah, through this torture method, O'Brien is able to reteach Winston the ideas of doublethink and crime stop. We already went over what doublethink is, and crime stop is basically like stopping yourself. It's in the name. It's stopping yourself from committing any crime. It's quite simple. Um, I just want to move on. What's it called? Yeah. So in the next chapter, we learn that O'Brien is about to enter the second stage of the torturing process, which is like learning, understanding, and accepting Big Brother. And you might be wondering, like, what's the point of teaching Winston all these things if he was already a traitor? We learned that traitors, if you betray Big Brother, you're going to be killed. And it's just like, why would they like reteach him things, like waste the time reteaching things, but you just kill them outright? Well, it's just been established that like they want to, instead of just killing them quick and easily, they want to reteach them before they kill them, so that like there are no like, so I don't know. I guess that's just why they just want to teach the traitors before they kill them. I never really got that. Um, anything to add, Tariq?
Honestly, this was a mystery to me. Not like just on the idea that you had on like why would they instead of just murdering them, not murdering them, but killing them.
Yeah.
Like right then and there when they like when they were like right there, they betrayed the party. Like instead of just like killing them like right there, I know it was like kind of repetitive, but
Mm-hmm.
like still, I mean, it was confusing because I was like, why would they keep them alive just to convert them to just kill them? But what you said makes a lot of sense. How it was just to convert them before they kill them. Probably because when they die, they want the people to have the thought of Big Brother, or like they want them to die loving Big Brother.
Yeah, like a
So
sort of
they
personal
don't die.
satisfaction thing.
Like, they don't die. Yeah, so they don't die like heretical.
Yeah. All right. So we'll continue on. O'Brien just talks more about the party and how it's um the strongest thing, indestructible. It's absolute, because like the reason why the party is like so strong is because it controls the human mind, and the human mind is important because no matter how powerful, no matter how like powerful in terms of weaponry you have as a government, the human mind can tear anything down, turn down anything, as long as you rally up and like go against the government. Example, this would be like any revolution, like you see American Revolution, Haitian Revolution, French Revolution. Those are all examples of like the human mind working together to take down the previously established government. And yeah, so O'Brien just talks more about the party and stuff like that. And then he shows a mirror. This part like really got to me. He showed a mirror to Winston, and just so Winston could see himself, his personal degradation. Because like it's described that Winston, like he looks, even though Winston was like 39 years old, like 40 around this time, he looks to be 60 years old because he was bald, he had gray hairs, and like his spine was messed up. Like he was messed. He was totally his form was totally disfigured. And it was like, dang, you just get that in mind. You see how much torture he went through to make him look to turn a 40-year-old man into a 60-year-old man just by looks. And that's it with chapter 3. With chapter 4, okay, no, that's not it with chapter 3. At the end of chapter 3, Winston releases this last like he just lashes at O'Brien, and through this, O'Brien realizes that Winston still has his love for Julia, and that's the only thing that's allowing him to withstand the torture. So he must O'Brien realized that he must tear down Julia, remove Julia from Winston's mind, and destroy their relationship with each other. So what do you think about that, Tariq?
Honestly, I don't really think much of it on how they O'Brien realization about Winston was still loyal to Julia throughout all of this torture and stuff. But honestly, I would like to move on to when they finally brought Winston into room 101.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll let you
Because
have this.
once O'Brien actually brought Winston into room 101, we realized that what room 101 was really about. And by the way, after a long time of torture, and mind you, this torture period of the story lasted a while. It lasted probably months.
Yeah, because at the end it was
As it goes
1985.
on, yeah, and as it goes on, the torture starts to get a little bit lighter. Winston just, I guess, lives in the Ministry of Love. I keep trying to go to truth, but the Ministry of Love for a long time. And he tries to assimilate. He wants himself to assimilate back into the party, probably in hopes of being free later. And Brian still realizes Big Brother, his not loyalty to Big Brother, and he's still loyal to
Julia.
You realize he's still to Julia. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
No problem.
He's still loyal to Julia, and so he brings him to room 101 for I guess you could say might be one of the final tests, major tests, to see his loyalty to Big Brother and try to break him from his loyalty to Julia. And what happens is Winston's biggest fear comes into play.
Yep.
And it was it's he just had a cave of what I could assume based on how they described it, ferocious and rabid rat.
Yeah.
And it's it's in the cage. They wanted to literally fight Winston, and he has a fear of rat.
We learned that in the room.
Yeah. And with that being said, right, Winston was he really did it. Not only was he afraid of it, but he also thought about what would happen if these rats got a hold of his face.
Yeah.
The obliteration, I guess you could say, of his face. It would be disgusting, I guess you could say, on how his face would be afterwards.
It's
and so because you're gonna be chewed off by rats. And so what happened was that's when the loyalty was just cut in half and disintegrated. And he said, "Do it to Julia."
Yeah.
He completely disregarded his loyalty to Julia. He broke it. It was gone. And he just completely said, "Do it to Julia." Yeah. And that part really made me realize how, I guess, loose love and loyalty could really be for human beings. Because once they're pressured into a corner that they really don't, it's almost like they're just willing to give up anything.
Yeah, just
so they
to
don't
get
have
out.
to face that.
Yeah.
And then love and loyalty just goes out the window. It's not about being loyal anymore. Yeah. It's about being
it's human instinct. It's human instinct. So
and I believe O'Brien knew this. I think that's why Room 101 was one of the final tests. So he knew that if this didn't work, Winston would probably just have to be killed on the spot. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Room 101 is tailored to like a specific to the person's greatest fear, and I guess I know I think I know how they learned about Winston's greatest fear because it was in the room where we learned that we learned that Winston's fear was rats because he confessed it in the room, and we know that there was a telescreen recording them in the room. So I guess that's how they found out. And another thing I want to add is just a little like thing you could do on your own time for the viewers. If you go on YouTube, you should like actually look at the scenes, the torture scenes from 1984, because like they give a whole new perspective on the whole thing. And now, honestly, I suggest you watch the whole movie. But I know a lot of you guys don't have time for that. But if you just like watch some clips, like you just type in 1984 torture scene on YouTube, you probably find some clips. Just watch one or two of them. Like it gives you, it shows like it gives, it's just it's hard to describe, but yeah, it's like a real life experience for the whole thing. Because the book can only show you so much. When you actually watch it, it's crazy. Yes. Um. So yeah, just like Tariq said, after Winston gave up his loyalty to Julia, he basically um gave all his loyalty to Big Brother, and that's basically solidified everything for O'Brien. So this is the final chapter. It's a month later where Winston sits in the Chestnut Tree Cafe, and this is where dismissed party members go to have a drink. And at this point now, he fully accepts the part. He fully accepts whatever the party says and does. Like he's just 100% Big Brother. He's basically like what's his name? Sime, Sign or Sime from the beginning of the book. How he's just like completely devoted for Big Brother. Like he just accepts anything they say, which kind of is like crazy. Like you go from a man who's super rebellious. He's like down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, to this normal man who's totally destroyed, like his morals totally destroyed. It's crazy how much the party as a whole on the human mind. So Winston speaks to Julia again, and they say like they just talk normally, and they agreed to like see each other again. But like it was obvious that none of them were going to actually see each other again because I'm pretty sure Julia got the same treatment as Winston, so it's just like done and done there. Um, yeah. And it's actually this part actually surprised me. Winston actually enjoyed the time at the Ministry of Love, and he just wants like at this point in the story, he just wants to die. Like he's tired of living. He just wants to die, and he actually enjoyed the time at the Ministry of Love, and he loves Big Brother. Like when he looked at the end of the story, he looks up at the picture of Big Brother on the telescreen, and like it's like he sees his joy and love for him, and he sees it as a victory for him that he actually defeated the traitor that he was. Like he defeated himself because he stopped his traitorous actions, quote unquote. And yeah, it's just and that's the end of the book. It's pretty implied at this point that Winston would probably be killed because the same thing happened earlier in the chapter. I forgot to mention this earlier in the story. It was like three men or something that were in the same cafe, Chestnut Cafe, where party members were dismissed, and like shortly after they were killed. Like they confessed to their crimes and they were killed. So yeah, we know that Winston's probably gonna die, as with Julia, or maybe not. Yeah, and this really sad ending, really. Like this ending made me really depressed. Well, depressed would be really sad and like sucks. But that's the
If
power
I'm
of Big
being
Brother.
if I'm being honest, I feel like a better ending would have actually have been going down with Big Brother. I know it's a little cliche, but I feel like I would have been more happier to see Julia and Winston win rather than to see like. Also, Temmie forgot to mention when Winston saw Julia, her face was also beat up,
Oh
and it
yeah,
looked like
yeah.
she's been through a lot. And so, like Winston also questioned when he said she was really thrown into the thing of the cage of rats, because it looked like her face was really deformed. And
Yeah.
so yeah. And, like, they both basically took a massive loss
Mhm.
to a point where Winston almost felt like he won by beating himself. Like they literally brainwashed him to the point where he realized, oh yeah, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about everything. No rebellion. Yeah, me rebelling. That's my bad. And he was really content with dying because he died knowing that he was
Mm-hmm.
he was a forgiving. No, he was like he died knowing he was sorry.
Knowing
I
that he was,
guess.
knowing that he was like, at the end, he became a model citizen at the end.
Yeah, like yeah, that's what I mean. Like sorry for his traitorous actions. Like he
Yeah,
was, yeah, he was like happy. He was ready to die. He was like, I died being loyal to the party and doing my duty as a citizen. And so, I don't know that ending. I feel like could have been better, but I
yeah.
really do
I just
give
wanna.
a lot.
I don't know.
Of,
Continue. Continue.
I really do want to give a lot of appreciation to George Orwell for the story because the story was very exciting
Yeah.
and it was really good. Some moments in the story really surprised me more than others, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like George Orwell did a really great job at writing it.
Yeah.
So good job to him.
Yeah, and I would like to say, like, I kind of disagree with you on the ending part because I feel like this story, when during the time it was made, I think it was 1949 or 47. During this time, it was like the time of like the Red Scare. I think, or like it was just like when communism, not I won't say communism, but like dictatorship and stuff like that was starting to rise. And George Orwell, this book was made as a way to like show what will happen if like not communism, but like these type of regimes and stuff like that to come out and like to be real happen in real life. And like in these regimes, there is no happy end. There isn't no happy love story where two little lovebirds like. Oh, hold on, give me a second. Yeah, it's in a happy story where two little lovebirds find love and take down the enemy, the big brother enemy, and like skip in flower fields. This is it's supposed to be like real life. It's like sometimes there is no happy ending. Sometimes you lose, and in this case, they really lost, like lost badly. But yeah, um, I really appreciate how George Orwell like made the book was good. The book was really good, and like I kind of already knew how the book was gonna end because I didn't read it, but I watched it before. But even though I watched it, I still read every page, and I'll read it again. I'll recommend it. It's a good book, and overall, I'm just glad I got to read it. So, any final thoughts, Tariq?
No, I think you really summed it up well. And honestly, I have no rebuttal for your disagreement with my statement because if you mention it that way, you're correct. When you really think about it in perspective of how Wonder was written, it was not supposed to be a happy book. It was supposed to really enlighten people on what may happen and how we
Yeah,
have to, I guess, stop dictatorships and stop other groups around the time. Because I believe that this book was written in the 1940s
mm-hmm.
around the time of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. So overall, thank you guys for watching for listening to this podcast. Uh, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, or at least listen to it this far. Stay tuned for more. We might have some more podcasts coming up sooner or later. It depends.
good, Miss
Uh,
Gardner, just assign some more, and we got.
yeah. Sign us up. We'll be down for it. All right, guys. Peace out. Just a quick little Easter egg. Miss Gartner, if you're watching this, say 589 to us next time you see us in class.